Dad, you're being selfish. My son Brandon stood in my kitchen, holding my pill organizer, the one with Monday through Sunday in raised letters I could feel with my arthritic fingers. You don't need all these. Half of them are placebos anyway. Then he dumped them in the trash. All of them. Blood pressure, heart medication, insulin. The anti-seizure pills my neurologist had spent 6 months calibrating. Brandon smiled while he did it. What he didn't know was I'd already called my pharmacist and my lawyer. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I'm 71 years old. Arthur Brennan. Worked as a union electrician for 43 years before my hands started shaking too much to wire a junction box safely. Good pension. Owned my house outright. 3-bedroom ranch I bought in 1979 for $42,000. Worth maybe $200 now, maybe less. Doesn't matter. It's paid for. Brandon showed up on a Tuesday. Didn't call first. Just his truck in the driveway when I came back from my cardiac rehab appointment. He was sitting on my porch steps, scrolling his phone. "You get my messages?" he said. Not, "Hi, Dad," not, "How are you feeling?" I saw them. He'd sent 4 texts over the weekend, each one longer than the last. The first one just said, "Need to talk." By the 4th one, he was explaining his situation, explaining why he needed money. $48,000. "Vanessa's going to leave me if I don't handle this," he said, following me inside. "Her dad's already calling me a deadbeat." Vanessa, his wife. I'd paid for their wedding 6 years ago. $18,000 for a barn venue 2 hours away and a DJ who played the chicken dance 3 times. Brandon had promised to pay me back. That was 6 years ago. "What's the $48,000 for?" I already knew. His messages had explained it, but I wanted to hear him say it. "Business loan. The LLC went under, but the loan was in my name personally, so now they're coming after me. If I don't pay by the end of the month, they'll garnish my wages." The LLC. Brandon's consulting business that lasted 11 months. I'd given him $23,000 to start it. He'd said he had clients lined up. Government contracts. Sure thing. "You have a job now?" I asked. "Yeah. Finally. Sales manager at a car dealership. But Dad, if they garnish my wages, Vanessa's dad will find out. He already thinks I'm a screw-up." I opened my pill organizer. Tuesday's compartment. 4 pills in the morning, 3 at lunch, 5 at night. I'd filled it Sunday like I did every week. Same routine for 3 years since the heart attack. "I can't give you $48,000, I said. Brandon's face changed. The pleading expression dropped away. "Can't or won't?" "Both." "That's bullshit, Dad. You have the pension, you have Social Security, Mom's life insurance." Martha's life insurance. $50,000. I'd used $38,000 of it to pay for her final 6 months. Hospice care at home like she wanted. The rest went to her funeral and paying off the credit cards we'd maxed out during her treatments. Brandon knew this. I'd shown him the statements. "I'm not giving you $48,000, I said again. He stared at me. Then he laughed. "You're unbelievable. You know that? When I was growing up, you were always working, always at the union hall or doing side jobs, never around. And now, when I actually need you, you're too cheap to help your own son." My jaw tightened. I set down my pill organizer. "I worked those jobs to pay for your orthodontics, your hockey equipment, your car insurance after you totaled the Civic. That was 30 years ago. 26. And you're welcome. He picked up my pill organizer, turned it over in his hands. These are covered by insurance, right? Medicare? Some of them. So you're not actually paying full price for these. Brandon, put that down. How much do you really need? Half these pills are probably unnecessary. Doctors just prescribe this stuff because drug companies pay them to. Put it down. You're being selfish, Dad. He walked to my kitchen trash can, the one under the sink. You don't need all these. Half of them are placebos anyway. Then he dumped them. The whole organizer. I heard the pills scatter in the trash bag. 40 pills. Maybe 50. Some of them I'd need to take that night. The insulin especially. I'm diabetic. The blood sugar doesn't regulate itself. There, Brandon said. Now you can take that money you're wasting on pharmacy copays and help your son instead. He smiled. Set the empty organizer on the counter. Then he left. The door closed. I heard his truck start in the driveway. I stood there looking at the empty pill organizer, the raised letters spelling out Tuesday. My hands were shaking. Not from the Parkinson's this time. From rage. I pulled the trash bag out, carefully. Spread it on the kitchen floor. The pills had scattered through coffee grounds and the remains of yesterday's dinner. Some had dissolved already. The insulin capsules were cracked. Useless. I couldn't take them. Not like this. Not contaminated. I called my pharmacy. Linda answered. I've known her for 12 years. She recognized my voice. Arthur, what's wrong? I told her. She didn't interrupt. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. I can do emergency refills on the critical ones, she said. Heart medication, insulin, anti-seizure. But your insurance won't cover it. You just filled these Sunday. How much? Maybe $800? Let me check your profile. I heard typing. Yeah, $847 for a week's supply of the critical medications. You'll need prior authorization from Dr. Patel for the rest. $847. I had it. Barely. The checking account was low this month. I'd just paid property taxes. Do it, I said. I'll have them, I said. Ready in an hour. Arthur, do you need me to call someone? Is your son still there? He's gone. Okay. I'm flagging your account. If anyone but you tries to pick up your medications, we won't release them. I hadn't thought of that. Thank you. I sat on my kitchen floor next to the trash bag. Pills mixed with garbage. My heart medication. The little white ones I'd been taking since the bypass surgery. The insulin. The anti-seizure pills that kept my brain from misfiring after the stroke 2 years ago. Brandon knew about the stroke. He'd visited me in the hospital. Once. For about 20 minutes. Then he'd had to leave. Something about Vanessa needing the car. The pharmacy was across town. I'd have to drive. My hands were still shaking, but I could manage. Had to. Going without the insulin for more than 12 hours would put me in the hospital. I'd learned that the hard way. I got up. Slowly. My knees aren't what they used to be. Left the trash bag on the floor. Grabbed my keys. The pharmacy took 40 minutes. Linda had the medications ready in a white bag. I paid cash. $847.32. My checking account was down to maybe $300 now. Pension didn't deposit until Friday. Arthur, Linda said quietly, I know this isn't my business, but you should report this. What he did, that's elder abuse. Legally. He's my son. I know. I'm sorry. I drove home, took my evening medications, the new ones, sat at the kitchen table, the same table where Martha and I had celebrated our 35th anniversary, the same table where Brandon used to do his homework while I helped him with algebra. He'd called me selfish. I opened my laptop. The old Dell that takes 5 minutes to boot up, logged into my banking app. The numbers glowed on the screen. I scrolled back, looking for a pattern I already knew was there. $4,100 transferred to Brandon on March 15th. "Emergency," he'd texted. "Car needs new engine." $2,200 on April 3rd. Vanessa's hospital bill. Insurance denied the claim. $850 on April 28th. Rent's short this month. Can you help? $2,400 on May 12th. No explanation that time. Just, "Thanks, Dad," 3 days later. I kept scrolling. The transfers went back years. Different amounts, different excuses, but always the same pattern. Brandon needed money. I sent it. June through December last year. $18,300 total, not counting the $23,000 for the LLC, not counting the wedding. I added it up. Had to use the calculator app. The number kept getting bigger. $127,400 over the last 4 years, not counting the smaller stuff, the birthday checks, the groceries I'd bought when he and Vanessa were having a tight month, the new tires for his truck, the security deposit for their apartment when they got evicted from the last place. $127,400. I sat back. The chair creaked. Same chair I'd sat in for 30 years. Martha's chair across from me was empty. Had been empty for 3 years. Brandon had visited 17 times since Martha died. I'd counted them without meaning to. Each visit in my calendar. Some were holidays, most were when he needed something. The funeral. That was one visit. He'd left before the wake ended. Had to get back to work, he'd said. Thanksgiving last year. He and Vanessa came for dinner. Stayed maybe 2 hours. Left before dessert because Vanessa's father was having a party. Christmas. They'd stopped by with presents, generic stuff. A fleece pullover from Costco. A coffee mug with "Number 1 Dad" printed on it. The mug was still in the box in my closet. My birthday last month. No visit. He'd texted "Happy Birthday" at 9 p.m., like he'd just remembered. I closed the laptop. My hands had stopped shaking. That surprised me. I looked at the empty pill organizer on the counter. Brandon had dumped them because I'd refused to pay his debt. $48,000. Money I didn't have to give. Money that, even if I did have it, wouldn't fix whatever was broken in him. The rage was building now, hot and focused. I could feel it in my chest, in the way my vision seemed to sharpen. He'd called me selfish. Me. The man who'd worked 60-hour weeks so he could play hockey, who'd taken out a second mortgage to pay for his college, who'd given him $127,400 over 4 years and gotten 17 visits in return. Selfish. I picked up my phone. Not to call Brandon. To call someone else. Janet Kowalski answered on the second ring. "Arthur? Everything okay?" Janet. My lawyer. Martha and I had used her for the will, the power of attorney documents, the living trust. She'd been Martha's high school friend, knew the family. "I need to update my will," I said. "Okay. What kind of changes are we talking about?" "Complete revision. How soon can we meet?" "Tomorrow morning? 10 o'clock?" I'll be there. I hung up, made another call. Dr. Patel's office. Left a message with the answering service about what Brandon had done. They'd call me back in the morning to discuss filing a police report. Then I called my bank. Set up appointment for Thursday to discuss my accounts, what protections I could put in place, how to make sure Brandon couldn't access anything. Last call was to my neighbor, Helen Patterson. She lived 3 houses down, retired nurse. We'd known each other for 20 years. "Arthur? It's late. You okay?" I told her what happened. Shorter version this time. Just the facts. "That son of a bitch," she said. Helen didn't usually swear. "You need me to come over?" "No, but I need a favor. I'm going to give you a key to my house. If anything happens to me, if I end up in the hospital or worse, I need you to make sure you're the one who's called, not Brandon." "Of course. I'll come by tomorrow." "Thank you." I hung up, sat in the quiet house. The refrigerator hummed. Same refrigerator Martha and I had bought in 1998. Still worked fine. The pill organizer sat empty on the counter. I'd refill it tomorrow with the new medications. $847 worth of pills, Brandon had destroyed because I wouldn't pay his debt. I thought about the $127,400. Thought about the 17 visits. Thought about standing in the hospital after Martha died and Brandon leaving early because he had to work. My son had always been entitled, even as a kid. Everything was owed to him. Every sacrifice I made was just what parents were supposed to do. Never earned, never appreciated, just expected. Martha used to make excuses for him. "He's young. He'll grow out of it." He was 38 now, still waiting for him to grow out of it. I went to bed, took longer than usual to fall asleep, kept thinking about the trash can, the pills scattered through garbage, Brandon's smile. "You're being selfish, Dad." Wednesday morning I met with Janet. Her office was downtown, small practice, just her and a paralegal. "Tell me everything," she said. I did. Started with Tuesday, then backed up to the $127,400, the pattern of requests, the wedding I'd paid for, the LLC that failed, the lack of visits, the lack of gratitude. Janet took notes, didn't interrupt. When I finished, she set down her pen. "What do you want to do?" "Remove him from the will, completely." "Okay. Your current will splits everything 50-50 between Brandon and—" She checked her file. "There's no one else listed. Martha was your only other heir." "I know. So if we remove Brandon, where does the estate go?" I'd thought about this all night. Can I set up a scholarship? Something for trade school students? Absolutely. We can create a foundation. Name it after Martha if you'd like. Martha, she would have hated this, would have told me to forgive Brandon, to give him another chance. But Martha had also worked 2 jobs to help pay for Brandon's college, had maxed out credit cards buying him a car when his got repossessed, had died believing her son would take care of me when she was gone. She'd been wrong. "The Martha Brennan Trade Scholarship," I said. "For electricians, plumbers, union workers, kids who want to work with their hands." Janet nodded, wrote it down. "I'll draft the documents. This will take about a week. But Arthur, your son is going to contest this, especially if he thinks there's money involved. Let him contest it. I have documentation. Every transfer, every text message asking for money. I've been keeping records without realizing it." "Good. We'll need those. And Arthur, What happened yesterday with the medications? That's a crime. Elder abuse. Possibly assault. Have you filed a police report? Not yet. You should. Creates a paper trail. If Brandon contests the will, we can show a pattern of abuse and financial exploitation. I hadn't thought of it as exploitation, just my son being entitled. But Janet was right. $127,400 in 4 years. That was exploitation. I'll file the report today, I said. Good. One more thing. Do you have a healthcare proxy? Someone who can make medical decisions if you're incapacitated? It's Brandon. Martha and I set it up years ago. Janet's face tightened. We need to change that immediately. After yesterday, you can't have him in control of your medical decisions. Who do you trust? Helen Patterson, my neighbor. Good. I'll draft a new healthcare proxy. We'll get everything signed by Friday. I left Janet's office feeling lighter. Not happy, but purposeful. Like I was finally doing something instead of just absorbing damage. Next stop was the police station. Filed a report. The officer taking the statement was young, maybe 30. He listened to my story, typed it into his computer. Did you take photos of the pills in the trash? He asked. No, I threw them away. That's unfortunate. Makes it harder to prove. I have the pharmacy receipt. Shows I had to do emergency refills, and my pharmacist can testify. She took my call. Heard what happened. The officer nodded. We'll follow up with your son. Have him come in for questioning. But I'll be honest, Mr. Brennan. These cases are hard to prosecute. It's your word against his. And he's family. I understand. You could file for a restraining order. Might be easier to get. A restraining order. Against my son. Against the kid I'd taught to ride a bike. Who'd fallen off the ladder while helping me clean gutters and broken his arm. Who'd cried in my truck when his first girlfriend dumped him. Let me think about it, I said. I drove home. Helen was on my porch with a casserole dish. Tuna noodle, Martha's favorite. Thought you might not feel like cooking, she said. I let her in, gave her the spare key I'd dug out of Martha's jewelry box, explained about the healthcare proxy. Of course I'll do it, Helen said. But Arthur, this is serious. You really think Brandon would... I don't know what he'd do anymore. Helen set the casserole in my fridge, turned to look at me. You're doing the right thing, protecting yourself. That's not selfish. That's survival. Selfish. That word again. He threw away my medications, Helen. Knew I needed them, didn't care, because I wouldn't give him $48,000. I know. And I'm so angry I could spit. That boy... She stopped. He's not a boy anymore, is he? He's a grown man who hurt his father. There's no excuse for that. After Helen left, I sat at the kitchen table, ate the tuna casserole straight from the dish, didn't bother with a plate. My phone rang. Brandon. I stared at the screen. Let it ring. He didn't leave a voicemail. He called again an hour later. Then again after dinner. 4 calls total by bedtime. No voicemails. No texts. I didn't answer. Thursday morning I met with the bank, explained the situation. The manager, Teresa, I'd known her for years, listened with increasing concern. We can set up alerts, she said. Any large withdrawal or transfer, you'll get a text immediately, and we can require in-person authorization for anything over $1,000 with photo ID. Do it. Arthur, does your son have any access to your accounts? Any joint accounts? No, but he knows my social security number, my birthday. Could probably answer security questions. Teresa's face darkened. We need to change all your security questions immediately. Use answers he couldn't guess, and I'm putting a fraud alert on your accounts. If anyone calls claiming to be you, we'll verify in person. We spent 90 minutes updating everything. New security questions, new PIN for phone banking, fraud alerts, withdrawal limits. One more thing, Teresa said. Your beneficiaries. Who's listed? Brandon. Do you want to change that? Yes. Helen Patterson. I'll bring you her information. By the time I left the bank, it was noon. My phone showed 6 missed calls from Brandon. Still no voicemails. He texted at 2 p.m. Dad, we need to talk. Call me. I didn't respond. Another text at 4 p.m. Dad, I'm sorry about the pills. That was wrong. Can we talk? Sorry. He was sorry. Because he'd been thinking about it and felt bad? Or because he'd realized he'd crossed a line and needed to fix it before I did something permanent? I didn't respond. The calls kept coming. 6 more by dinner. I turned off my phone. Friday morning, Janet called my landline. The new will is ready. Can you come in to sign it? This afternoon? Perfect. Bring 2 witnesses. They can't be beneficiaries or related to you. I called Helen. She agreed to be a witness and found another neighbor, Dorothy Kim from across the street, to come along. We met at Janet's office at 2 p.m. The new will was 30 pages. Janet walked me through every section. Your entire estate goes to the Martha Brennan Trade Scholarship Foundation. House, pension benefits, savings, everything. Brandon is explicitly excluded. There's a clause explaining why. Pattern of financial exploitation and elder abuse. What if he contests it? He can try, but you're clearly competent. We have medical records showing that. And we have documentation of his exploitation, the police report, the pharmacy records, the bank statement showing $127,400 in transfers. It's a strong case. I signed. Helen and Dorothy witnessed. Janet notarized. Done. One more thing, Janet said. She handed me a folder. I pulled together all the documentation we discussed. Every transfer to Brandon, the police report, pharmacy records, bank statements showing the pattern. Keep this somewhere safe, not in your house. Why not my house? Because if Brandon finds out what you've done, he might come looking for it. I took the folder, felt the weight of it. 4 years of exploitation documented in paper. Helen drove me home. I'd turned my phone back on. 14 missed calls. All Brandon. 1 new voicemail. Finally, I played it. Dad, it's Brandon. Look, I know you're pissed. I get it. What I did was wrong, but we're family, okay? We fight. We make up. That's what families do. Just call me back. Please. Vanessa's really worried about you. We both are. I deleted it. Saturday. No calls. Quiet day. I refilled my pill organizer with the new medications. The routine felt different now. Heavier. Sunday morning. Early. 6 a.m. My phone rang. Not Brandon. Vanessa. I answered. Hello? Arthur, thank God. Vanessa's voice was shaking. I need you to come to the hospital. It's Brandon. Something's wrong. Please come. My stomach dropped. What happened? I don't know. He collapsed. The doctors are running tests, but they're asking about his medical history, and I don't know half of it. You're his emergency contact, please." Emergency contact. Of course I was. I'd always been his emergency contact. "Which hospital?" "St. Mary's, ICU, please hurry." She hung up. I stood in my kitchen, the pill organizer on the counter, the folder from Janet on the dining room table. My son was in the ICU. The rage from Tuesday was gone. Just cold numbness now. I got dressed, slowly, drove to St. Mary's, took 30 minutes, parked in the visitor's lot. My hands were steady. That surprised me again. The ICU was on the 4th floor. Vanessa was in the waiting room. Her eyes were red. She jumped up when she saw me. "Thank you for coming. I'm so sorry. I know things have been tense between you and Brandon, but what happened?" "I don't know. He was fine last night. We went to bed normal. Then this morning he couldn't wake up. I called 911. They think it's his heart. Maybe a heart attack, but he's only 38. 38. Brandon was 38. Heart attacks didn't usually hit at 38 unless there was a family history. Martha's father had died of a heart attack at 42. Brandon knew this. I'd told him years ago, warned him to watch his cholesterol, get regular checkups. "Has he been to a doctor recently?" I asked. "No. He doesn't have insurance. The dealership job doesn't start coverage for 90 days, and he's only been there 2 months. No insurance? Of course not." A doctor came out. Young woman. Dr. Melissa Chen. No, wait. Her badge said Dr. Melissa Saunders. Different doctor. My brain was jumbling details. "Are you Brandon Brennan's father?" "Yes." "Can we talk privately?" I followed her to a small consultation room. Vanessa tried to come, but the doctor held up a hand. "Just immediate family for now." The room was sterile. White walls, 2 chairs. The doctor sat. I stayed standing. "Your son had a cardiac event," she said. "Significant blockage in 2 arteries. We've stabilized him, but he needs surgery. 2 stents, possibly bypass, depending on what we find. He's sedated now." "When?" "Tomorrow morning. But there's a complication." She paused. "Your son has no insurance. The surgery will cost between $80,000 and $120,000. The hospital requires a deposit or payment plan before scheduling elective procedures." Elective. Heart surgery was elective. What happens if he doesn't have the surgery? He'll likely have another cardiac event within weeks, possibly fatal. I sat down. The chair was cold plastic. "Can he get emergency coverage? Medicaid?" "We're working on it, but the application process takes time, days at minimum. Your son needs surgery within 48 hours. $80,000 to $120,000. I had maybe $300 in checking. The pension was $12,800 a month. I owned my house, but it would take months to sell. Could refinance maybe. Take out a home equity loan." "How much for the deposit?" I asked. $50,000. Remaining balance can be payment plan." $50,000. Brandon had asked me for $48,000 on Tuesday, for a business debt, a garnishment. Now he needed $50,000 for his heart. The irony wasn't lost on me. "I need time," I said. "Mr. Brennan, I understand this is difficult, but time is something your son doesn't have much of." I left the consultation room. Vanessa stood up. "What did she say?" "He needs surgery tomorrow." Oh, God. Is he going to be okay? If he has the surgery. Her face paled. If? I couldn't do this here, not in the waiting room. Can we talk outside? We went to the parking lot. Cold morning. November in Ohio. My breath fogged. The surgery cost money, I said. $50,000 up front. Vanessa's hand went to her mouth. We don't have that. We barely have rent. I know. But you... Can you? There it was, the ask. Not from Brandon this time, from his wife. I don't have $50,000, I said. Can you get it? A loan or something? Arthur, he's your son. He's your son. Like that was supposed to override everything. The $127,400, the 17 visits, the pills in the trash. I'll see what I can do, I said. I drove home, didn't go back inside, just sat in my truck in the driveway, engine off, cold seeping in. My son was dying, needed heart surgery, $50,000. Tuesday he'd thrown away my medications because I wouldn't give him $48,000 for a business debt. 3 days later, he was in the ICU asking for $50,000. The universe had a sick sense of humor. I called Janet. Sunday morning. She answered anyway. Arthur, what's wrong? I told her. The ICU, the surgery, the $50,000. Janet was quiet for a long moment. What do you want to do? I don't know. Arthur, I'm going to say something you might not want to hear. You don't owe him this. He's my son. He's also the man who threw away your medications and called you selfish. The man who's taken $127,400 from you over 4 years. The man who visited you 17 times in 3 years. I know. If you refinance your house, take out a loan, you'll be in debt for the rest of your life. At 71, with your health conditions, that money was supposed to be your safety net for nursing care if you need it for emergencies. This is an emergency. It's his emergency, not yours. My hands were shaking again. What kind of father lets his son die because of money? What kind of son throws away his father's medications because of money? Janet's voice softened. Arthur, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you it's okay to say no. Even now. Even with this. I hung up, sat in the truck. The house looked empty, cold. Martha would have taken out the loan, would have mortgaged the house, would have done whatever it took to save Brandon. But Martha was dead, and I was alive. And I had to decide if staying alive, financially, emotionally, physically, was worth more than saving a son who'd spent 4 years bleeding me dry. I went inside, made coffee, sat at the kitchen table. My phone rang. Vanessa again. Arthur, the doctor needs an answer. They can schedule the surgery for tomorrow morning, but they need the deposit today. Can you do it? I'm working on it. Please hurry. Brandon's asking for you. He woke up for a few minutes, kept saying he needs to talk to you. Brandon was awake, asking for me. I'll be there in an hour, I said. I drove back to St. Mary's, parked in the same spot, took the elevator to the 4th floor. Vanessa met me outside Brandon's room. He's awake. Doctor said 10 minutes max. He needs rest. I went in alone. Brandon was in the bed, tubes everywhere, oxygen mask, heart monitor beeping steady. His face was gray. Dad. His voice was muffled by the mask. I pulled a chair close, sat down. How are you feeling? Like shit. He tried to smile. Failed. Vanessa told you? About the surgery? Yeah. I need your help, Dad. I know things have been bad between us. I know Tuesday was fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But I need you. Sorry. Again. This time with tubes in his arms and a heart monitor beeping. The hospital needs $50,000, I said. I know. Vanessa told me. His eyes were wet. I don't have it. I don't have anything. The dealership job doesn't even start insurance for another month. What happened to the $48,000 you needed Tuesday? The business debt? Brandon looked away. That's still there. But that's just money. This is my life. Just money. The $48,000 was just money. But the $50,000 was his life. Did you pay the business debt? I asked. No. Can't pay it if I'm dead. I leaned back. The chair creaked. Same sound as my chair at home. Different chair. Same sound. Brandon, I need you to be honest with me. Was Tuesday about the money? Or was it about punishing me for saying no? He didn't answer right away. The heart monitor beeped. Steady. Regular. Both, he finally said. I was pissed. You've always been there when I needed money, and then suddenly you weren't. It felt like you were abandoning me. I gave you $127,400 over 4 years. His eyes widened. You counted? Of course I counted. Every transfer, every loan that never got paid back, every emergency that somehow became my responsibility. Dad, I was going to pay you back. When? You never paid back the wedding, never paid back the LLC, never paid back the car. When exactly were you planning to start? Brandon's face crumpled. I don't know. I thought we had time. I thought you'd always be there. Always be there. Like I was a bank, an ATM that occasionally got invited to holidays. You threw away my medications, I said quietly. My heart medication, my insulin, the anti-seizure pills that keep my brain from short-circuiting. You threw them in the trash because I wouldn't give you $48,000. I know. That was wrong. I wasn't thinking. What did you think would happen? That I'd just go buy more? I don't know. I was angry. So angry you were willing to risk my life. The heart monitor's beeping sped up. Brandon's breathing got faster. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. I know I've been a shitty son. I know I've taken advantage. But I'm your son. You can't just let me die. He's your son. Same words Vanessa had used. I'm not letting you die, I said. But I'm also not bankrupting myself to save you. What does that mean? It means I'm going to help you, but not the way you want. I stood up. Brandon tried to sit up. The monitors beeped faster. Alarms started going off. A nurse rushed in. Sir, you need to leave. He's getting agitated. I left. Vanessa was in the hallway. What happened? What did you say to him? I said I'd help. But not with money. Then how? I didn't answer. Went down to the hospital administration office, asked to speak with a financial counselor. The counselor, middle-aged woman named Patricia, listened to my explanation. Brandon's situation, the surgery, the lack of insurance. "We have emergency Medicaid applications," she said. "Can be expedited in critical cases. Has your son applied?" "I don't know. Let me check." She typed into her computer. "No application on file. I can help him start one now. It won't cover the full cost, but it'll cover a significant portion. The hospital also has a charity care program. Based on income and assets, he might qualify." "How much would he still owe?" "Hard to say without seeing his financial information, but possibly 20 to 30,000 instead of 120. 20 to 30,000. Still a massive debt, but manageable with a payment plan. Wouldn't require me to refinance my house." "Start the applications," I said. Patricia nodded. "I'll need to speak with your son, get his authorization and financial information. He's in the ICU, sedated. When he's awake, have him call me, or his wife can start the process if she has his information." I took Patricia's card, went back upstairs. Vanessa was still in the waiting room. "I talked to a financial counselor," I said. "There are programs, emergency Medicaid, charity care. Brandon needs to apply." "Will that cover the surgery?" "A lot of it. Maybe not all, but enough that the hospital will schedule it." Vanessa's face flooded with relief. "Thank you. Thank you so much." "Don't thank me. This is on Brandon. He'll have to do the applications, provide the financial information, set up payment plans for whatever's left." "But you'll help him, right? With the payments?" There it was again, the assumption that I'd cover whatever was left, that my money was their money. "No," I said. "This is Brandon's debt. He'll pay it." Vanessa's face changed. "Arthur, he can't afford—" "Then he'll figure it out. Payment plans exist. He has a job. He can manage this." "You're really going to make him go into debt?" "I'm going to make him take responsibility for the first time in his life." I left. Drove home. It was noon, Sunday. The house was cold. I'd forgotten to turn up the heat. My phone rang all afternoon. Vanessa. Brandon's number. Someone else calling from his phone. I didn't answer. Monday morning. 7 a.m. Knock on my door. Vanessa. She looked like she hadn't slept. "Arthur, please. They're scheduling the surgery for this afternoon. Brandon started the Medicaid application, but it takes days to process. The hospital needs something today, at least 10,000. A deposit showing good faith." 10,000, not 50. 10. I had 10,000. Barely. If I emptied my savings account, the account I'd been building for years as an emergency fund, for nursing care, for end-of-life expenses. If I give you 10,000, what happens to the rest? Payment plan. The hospital said they'll work with us if we show we're trying. And Brandon will pay that payment plan? Not me? Yes, I promise. Arthur, please, he's your son. I looked at Vanessa. 29 years old, married to my son for 6 years. I'd paid for their wedding, helped with rent, bought groceries, covered emergencies. She'd thanked me maybe a dozen times, total, over 6 years. I'll give you 5,000, I said. Not 10, 5. Arthur, 5,000. That's what I have available without destroying my own safety net. The hospital gets 5 from me. You and Brandon figure out the other 5. We don't have 5,000. Then get a loan. Use a credit card. Call Vanessa's father. But I'm giving you 5. That's it. Vanessa's face hardened. You're really going to let money come between you and your son? Your husband threw away my medications because I wouldn't give him money. He made money more important than my life. I'm just returning the favor. I closed the door, heard Vanessa standing on the porch, then footsteps, then her car starting. I sat at the kitchen table, hands shaking again. $5,000. I'd just agreed to give Brandon $5,000. After everything, after the pills, after the $127,400, after promising myself I was done. But $5,000 wasn't $50,000. $5,000 wouldn't bankrupt me, would hurt, would make the next few months tight, but wouldn't destroy me. I called the hospital, spoke to Patricia, arranged to wire $5,000 to Brandon's account. She confirmed it would be enough to schedule the surgery. Mr. Brennan, Patricia said carefully, I want you to know, what you're doing is kind. A lot of families wouldn't help at all after what you've described. Kind. I didn't feel kind. Felt exhausted. The surgery happened Monday afternoon. Vanessa texted updates. In surgery now. Going well. Out of surgery. Doctor says successful. I didn't go to the hospital. Tuesday morning, Brandon called, his own voice this time. Dad, I'm okay. Surgery went well. Doctor says I'll be here another day or two, then home. Good. Vanessa told me about the $5,000 and about you not paying the rest. That's right. I'm going to have a $30,000 hospital bill with the payment plan. Yes. That's going to take me years to pay off. Probably. Silence. Then, you really meant it about being done. I really meant it. I'm your son, and I'm your father, not your bank. More silence. I could hear the hospital sounds in the background, beeping monitors, intercom announcements. I don't know if I can forgive you for this, Brandon finally said. That's your choice. Mom would have helped me. The words hit like a fist. Your mom is dead. And you know what? She would have helped you. Would have taken out a loan, mortgaged the house, given you everything. And you know what else? She did that your whole life. Every time you failed, Mom was there with a safety net. And it didn't help you. It made you entitled, made you think the world owed you everything and you owed nothing back. That's not fair. You threw away my medications, Brandon, my heart pills. Tell me that's fair. He hung up. I set down the phone. The kitchen was quiet. Same quiet as every morning for 3 years since Martha died. Wednesday. Helen came by with soup, chicken noodle. We sat at the kitchen table. How are you holding up? She asked. I don't know. You did the right thing. Doesn't feel right. No, it feels terrible. That's how you know you're a decent person. Indecent people don't feel terrible when they set boundaries. I ate the soup. Helen stayed for an hour, didn't try to fix anything, just sat with me. Thursday, Janet called. Just checking in. How are you doing? Brandon had the surgery. He's okay. I heard. Helen told me. And I heard about the $5,000. I couldn't let him die. No one expected you to. But you also didn't bankrupt yourself. You found a middle ground. That takes strength. Doesn't feel like strength. It never does. Strength feels like guilt, like you're doing something wrong. That's how you know it's working. Friday, Brandon came home from the hospital. Vanessa texted me a photo. Brandon in bed, looking pale but alive. I didn't respond. Saturday, a letter arrived from Brandon, handwritten. I opened it at the kitchen table. Dad, I've been thinking a lot since the surgery. About what you said. About the medications. About the money. About everything. You're right. I've been entitled. I've taken advantage. I've treated you like an ATM instead of a father. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know if I can. But I want to try. I'm going to pay you back. The $5,000 first. Then we can talk about the rest. It'll take time. Years, probably. But I'm going to do it. I'm also going to get help. Vanessa found a therapist who specializes in family stuff, financial issues. I have my first appointment next week. I don't expect you to forgive me. Not right away. Maybe not ever. But I want you to know I'm trying. I'm sorry, Dad, for Tuesday, for everything. I'm sorry. Brandon. I read the letter 3 times, set it on the table, looked at Martha's empty chair. She would have cried, would have called Brandon immediately, would have forgiven him on the spot. I wasn't Martha. I folded the letter, put it in a drawer, didn't throw it away, but didn't call him either. Not yet. Maybe not for a long time, but someday, maybe someday. 3 weeks later, Thanksgiving. Helen invited me to dinner at her house. Her kids were coming. Grandkids. Full table. I almost said no. Spent Thanksgiving alone the last 2 years. Seemed easier than pretending to be festive. But Helen insisted. You're not spending the holiday alone. Not this year. So I went. Brought a pie. Store-bought. My baking skills never matched Martha's. Helen's house was loud. Kids running around. Football on TV. Turkey in the oven. Normal. Her daughter, Linda, pulled me aside. Mom told me what happened with your son. I'm so sorry. Thank you. My brother did something similar. Stole from Mom's bank account a few years back. She had to get a restraining order. Hasn't talked to him since. That must be hard for her. It was. Still is. But she says she sleeps better now, knowing he can't hurt her anymore. Sleep better. I did sleep better. Not great, but better than I had in years. The dinner was good, turkey dry, but the company was warm. Helen's grandson, 7 years old, sat next to me, told me about his Pokemon cards for 20 minutes. I listened, didn't understand half of it, didn't matter. After dinner, Helen and I sat on her porch. Cold night, November in Ohio. My breath fogged. Thank you for inviting me, I said. Thank you for coming. House is better with you in it. I got a letter from Brandon. He apologized, said he's going to pay me back. Do you believe him? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. What are you going to do? Nothing. For now. Let him prove it. Let him show me through actions instead of words. Helen nodded. That's wise. Doesn't feel wise. Feels mean. Sometimes mean and wise are the same thing. I went home. The house was dark. I turned on the lights, put away the leftovers Helen had sent home with me, enough turkey for a week, sat at the kitchen table. Same table, same chair. My pill organizer sat on the counter, Monday through Sunday, filled with medications I'd paid for. That kept me alive. I thought about Brandon, about the letter, about the promise to pay me back. Maybe he would. Maybe he wouldn't. Either way, I'd be okay, because for the first time in 4 years, I wasn't waiting for him to need something, wasn't bracing for the next emergency, the next request, the next transfer. I was just living on my own terms, with my own money, in my own house. It wasn't the life Martha and I had planned, wasn't the retirement we'd dreamed about, where our son would visit regularly, where grandkids would run through these rooms. But it was mine, and I was protecting it. That had to be enough. If you liked this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.